The concept is simple. Turn $50 into $1,000 playing the finest night tracks every Thursday night. This is Bankroll Building and Bourbon. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead. We are back with another episode of Bankroll Building and Bourbon. Going to be looking at Turfway Park, Delta Downs, playing that live tonight, and then we'll talk some Oaklawn Park stakes. We got 3 stakes races to talk about at Oaklawn. If you want some pick 5 analysis, I was on with the Wolf of Oaklawn on the notorious OTB podcast, brought to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. So you can catch that over on, I don't know, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, probably Stitcher. Mark, help me out. What are the other just random ass podcasts? Spotify. What else has got podcasts?
Spotify. I don't know.
Spreaker.
There's so many random ones.
Yeah, what do you Android use? I mean, I use Apple Podcasts because I'm a simp. But
I use Spotify. Yeah, Spotify. Yeah, I mean, I think Spotify and Apple Podcasts are the 2 big platforms, and then Caleb, I know he blasted both of those.
I use Spotify.
Okay.
See.
I don't know what else is out there. SoundCloud, whatever else, but
I have no idea.
Is SoundCloud still in business?
I think it is.
Wow.
I mean, as somebody who puts out a podcast on a weekly basis, I should probably know all of the platforms it goes to. But
you guys are doing the hipster trendy thing where it's a video podcast.
Yeah, dude. Do you guys see that on Spotify? Where you play a podcast and a video pops up?
That's become a thing. That's become very trendy to have the video.
Yeah, Anchor, which is owned by Spotify, which is how I produce and I post out the podcast, allows you to just upload a video and you can do a video podcast. I don't know. I'll just do that, and then I think it sends out the audio to the other places.
Isn't a video podcast just a video?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it just, I don't know. It just lets me, Caleb, it just lets me upload places. I don't know what to tell you.
What makes a podcast? These are the things that.
Okay, here we go. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Pocket Casts, Stitcher, and Radio Public, and also Spotify too.
Yeah, I've tried the Google Podcast platform because I am a Google fanboy. I mean, we all know this, and I prefer Spotify in all honesty, and I think that's the only time I can think of that Google has a native app that I don't prefer over something else that's out there. It's okay, but I think Spotify is easier to kind of follow and track the people you listen to all the time. It plays better in my car. You can actually pre-download stuff to it and then listen to it later. Spotify does some nice stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Apple. I mean, I think Spotify is just nicer, but I've just been too lazy to take the half hour it'd probably take me to just resubscribe and download all the other podcasts I'm on. So I just haven't switched it over, but. Because I have a couple, I do a couple through Patreon, right? And they give you your custom RSS feed that has the ones that don't have ads on it, right? But you have to copy it from the Patreon thing. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff there that I just haven't had the time to do or play around with. But yeah. And then I also did Gino's podcast. I think that should be coming out sometime tonight, if not tomorrow. That's what G said. I know he does it different. He's got this 2-hour podcast. I think he puts out every week, and he kind of pieces together different segments for it, and then he puts out these individual segments out. I think on Twitter and YouTube and stuff. So We covered
tell
the
you what-
late pick 5 at Gulfstream. What were you gonna say, Mark?
I was gonna say Gino is it's obviously we're all friends and fans of Gino, and he does really good stuff. I really appreciate how he does his podcast format around the Breeders' Cup, because when he does it around then, it has a different streamer on for each individual race. So it's really cool. You can the races you maybe are, you're gonna have your opinions in certain ones, and other ones where you're like, geez, I want to hear somebody else's opinion. You can just pop around to those specific ones. So like I know you guys, I think we're talking the Gulfstream pick 5. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to be playing that sequence, let me listen to just this chunk. It's all time stamped. You just hop to that chunk and listen to it. It's a nice format.
I laugh because he was like so complimentary about the stuff that we do here on The Wrong Lead. I had to question whether or not he's actually ever listened to us. But no, it was fun. So it's always fun doing other people's stuff. Not being in the driver's seat. Obviously, Chase did ours, or did Drank and Champagne with Mr. Champagne off, and I think he's kind of like gotten used to, I think, being in the driver's seat. That being outside of the driver's seat, I think, was a little jarring for him, but we had fun. We talked about a bunch of stuff. He's in Vegas right now, so he's going to Vegas this weekend. Yeah, they're hanging out at the Circus Sportsbook, and they're just getting into trouble, him and XFL Jim. So I'm sure they'll have tons of content coming out there as well. And okay, we can finally start the show. Road Warrior has arrived. Says, hey, everybody. Yeah, Mark, we got about 13 minutes to post here. Delta Downs, race 6.
Yeah.
You got your chalk home last leg. A surprise. So,
and I think surprise, I will probably once again be on the chalk here. I am. I landed on 2 horses here. You're gonna make me flip back over. Hold on.
The
I have the
5
wrong
Bandits
form up.
Pride.
Yep. Yeah. Give me 1 second.
6.
Yeah, and the 6. Yeah.
6 is 8 to 1 right now. That's a price for you.
I know,
Ooh,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I
So,
think.
no, I think he'll take a bunch of money off from that maiden score. The figure came back really kind of stout for that, yeah, I think, and you're getting leading jock on the grounds and on the 5. So I thought those were the 2 horses, really the only 2 in here that I could make a case for. I thought you had to get creative. There's a lot of horses in here that have a lot of question marks and just don't have the speed figures, which really stand up. The only thing is, just given how the track is playing, it seems like speed's been, very good so far. So maybe you can make a case for somebody like the 7 who took a bunch of early money, and it looks like they're going to be, I would imagine they're going to be pretty aggressive with. But I just let it on the 5 and the 6. I thought those were your 2 most likely winners, and I'm playing a 5-6 over 1-9-10 daily double for $8, which is a $48 play, and that's basically my bankroll. Once again for this week. We'll see how this goes. Has not been going great so far when I try to do these.
So I actually did handicap Delta. I played the late pick 5, and I don't know if I'm like a contest bet here, but I will say that I saw this race pretty similar to Mark. I think the 5 and 6 probably probably in that order would be the horses to beat rather. I'm not going to rehash that. The other one I kind of looked at was the 2 Starship Jambalaya. A, that's an awesome name. And B, I thought this horse ran a really good race in her maiden breaker here at Delta. They probably got a little too ambitious, putting her in some Louisiana bred stakes races over at the fairgrounds, which generally are like just a little bit tougher than what they're going to find here at Delta Downs. Lost to the same horse twice in Free Drop Maddie by about the same margin each time. So I don't think she really ran that poorly. I think it's just those fields were much better. So kind of looking at that sort of makes me want to say, well, she gets back to Delta where she ran the race of her career. Maybe, blinkers going on, getting a pretty good jock on board. Maybe this horse can either send or stock and, get back to the winning ways coming back to Delta. And I think the price will be right. So those are the 3 horses I used in a pick 5. Not sure if I'll do anything in the contest.
I mean, I'm surprised Mark didn't use it as the class dropper.
Yeah, no, I do like the 2 a little here. I was really concerned about the pace scenario here. Her 1 win, I realized she's shown 4th by a neck at first call, but she effectively wired that field. Vincente decides to get off, her and get onto a different horse. And I just don't think she's going to make the lead here. I mean, maybe they're going to go full send and try to play that game, but I would imagine she's going to have to pass horses, which is something she's never proven she can do. So maybe she can do it, but I just thought she was a play against her. But Caleb is right. If you do get your 2 home here, you're getting your price. So,
or perhaps just wants to be a mom alert. I don't know.
Well, that's a new alert. We haven't seen it yet anyway.
I was like, wait, these are fillies. That's valid here, even though this is like they're basically still 2-year-olds. But, yeah, I always have a hard time with Delta because they, like the Brisnet speed figures, like every horse just looks the same. Every single horse just looks the same, right? They all run 68s. It's like all 68s. It's like, all right, which is the right 68? So you can't really use that. I mean, could you make a case for the 4 off the maiden breaker last out? Maybe he's going to be the speed here. I don't know. I think the 7 might go.
I think this 7's going to go. I would imagine Vargas tends to be pretty aggressive, and you're getting quite a bit of class relief on the 7. I mean, obviously Morning Line was bad there. I just, I wonder if this 7 is just good enough. There's one figure that 75 2 back, which would make that horse a player here, but I don't really know what happened last. I mean, I don't know. The last, maybe it was just way too classy last back, and you have to squint a little bit. Yeah, I think the 7 could get pretty aggressively sent here, but I don't know. Just wasn't where I landed.
Yeah, definitely kind of a messy pace setup. I mean, I don't know that the 7's quick enough, but to outbreak the 4, but it's going to be probably a scramble on the front.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened last race. There was like a three-way scramble for the front. One of the horses kind of cleared, the other 2 just kind of backed off, and then like just the horse that was just kind of sitting in like second or third the entire race just blew by everyone and won. I mean, was much the best, so maybe it just doesn't mean anything, but it did seem like pace fell apart last time. So if they do go suicidal and exert too much effort to get to front end, they will come back and they'll fall apart a little bit. But I just don't think you're going to get like some deep close or anything in any of these races. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on the odds here on the 4.
At what price does that 1 become bettable? I mean, at 5 to 2 is the favorite with pretty low percentage connections. I was like, well, but I mean, the horse really hasn't done anything wrong. I mean, ran probably the best race of anybody last time out.
Yeah, I looked long and hard at the 1. Just a horse that kind of got back to the level where you expected the horse to be a major player last out, was bet like a sure thing, and just didn't have enough. And I just wonder if this one needs a little additional class relief beyond what you're getting here. And I don't really know what kind of trip this one sits as well. Seems as though they were pretty forwardly placed last out. I don't see that horse being able to maintain position, and the 7 ended up beating Addy Bug last time out as well. So there's a horse in here that I think the 7 should be shorter than the 1. I think there is a price. I don't know if 9 to 2 is where I'm at. I would say 6 or 7 to 1 kind of range. I would be a little bit more interested.
Okay, so first of all, that's a lie, because you just don't bet a horse at 6 or 7 to 1. I think like you're saying like 6 to 5 or 7 to 5. I think that was more interesting. Yeah, this is kind of a tough little race if you're trying to beat the favorite, but I don't know. I mean, you're getting 5 to 2. It's a pretty flat board actually. It's pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, this is normally one of those races that Caleb and I would one of us would come out with the line of, geez, maiden breaker last out first time versus winners is now is your whatever your chalk is your favorite. That's the kind of horse you try to beat. But we're both using the horse, so I know how the story ends.
Yeah, I even tried to make a case for the 3. Like, I mean, coming out of this fairgrounds races again, probably better quality, but still, just it's a tough spot. That's I'm not going to make a contest player. I don't think. I mean, if I did, it'd be something kind of similar to Mark's, and I just don't feel good about that kind of a bet.
Where is Delta Downs?
Vinton, Louisiana.
Is it like in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana, basically?
It's basically on the Texas-Louisiana border.
Yeah, it's like northwest of me in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna scratch that idea off the list. AKA getting marked Delta Downs. That would be content right there.
I looked into it. The problem is you have to like fly into New Orleans and then you have to drive, and it was, I think there's a casino there though, so I think they have like a hotel. But
yeah, that sounds like just top accommodations, I'm sure. Delta Downs hotel. No offense to the people of Delta Downs, but I don't know. Yeah, I've been trying to think about a track trip to like one of the smaller tracks. I mean, number one on the list would have been Sam Houston, but unfortunately, we all know the story there.
Well, you can bet it if you go.
Yeah, that's true.
You and the 3 other people betting it, yeah.
Yeah, my $20 win bet might move the needle.
Might move the line, yeah.
Yeah, Delta is a Boyd Gaming property.
Boyd Gaming.
Mm. Yep.
So I know, Mark, you said you want to get downtown when we go to Vegas in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
I have no idea, but I always hear about downtown Vegas, and I've never been, and I just want to like float around and check out the scene.
Caleb, you a downtown guy?
I've been, but I wouldn't say I'm a downtown guy now.
Yeah, I'm not either.
No,
it's fine.
Didn't you like? Isn't Circa downtown?
Is the one you liked? Downtown. Yeah. Circa is beautiful. Circa is nothing like any other hotel that's downtown. Circa is basically like if you took a strip resort and put it downtown, and because of that, they charge strip prices, like high end strip prices. So
yeah, I know their rooms are absolutely exorbitant. Like what they're charging for a room is absurd.
And they're very they're nice but basic rooms.
Yeah.
So it's not like even staying at like Mandalay or Aria or Vidara or anything like that. So, but yeah, no, Circa's beautiful. It's definitely like with all the TVs and everything. It's definitely a sight to see. It's got a really nice gaming floor, yeah. I actually prefer like the D, but I don't know. It's just much different than what you see downtown. So I'm interested to see what you think when we go. I'm thinking maybe Wednesday night after dinner we head downtown.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm
trying to think one of the ones like something like a Binion's or something would be fun to go see. Just like some of the more historic stuff. Binion's, Golden Nugget, something like that.
Golden Nugget's okay too. I haven't been there in a while though.
That's where I went when I went downtown, but it's been a while. It's good if you want to find like a $5 table. It's a lot easier downtown.
Not anymore.
Well, maybe not lately. I haven't been in a few years.
Yeah, I've so there's a couple of like podcasts and stuff I listen to. One of them is You Can Bet on That, and it's like very much a like people call in and like they give like trip reports and stuff. And they basically said that that it's just not the same downtown anymore. Like you're looking at $15 tables, just like the Strip.
Oof.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna be playing bubble craps. I think the majority of the time to get that $5 limit in there. But that's at least that's a nice thing about craps, right? Like you can't like the worst you can do is limit the odds, right? And that. Like you can't change the. I mean, maybe if you go crapless craps, I know crapless craps is worse. And that's another thing that's taken over, is now the $15 tables. Now they're trying to turn them into crapless craps tables, which the house edge on the pass line goes from like 1.5% to like 2 or 3%, I think. So, Yeah, they're squeezing every last penny out of you, but somehow I'm just going to assume Caleb's just going to make a mint. This 4 is 23-1, so I am definitely going to bet this if I can log into my
Josh
Twin
found
Towers account
E7 that
fast
he
enough.
likes.
Inside speed, right?
But given the way our past bankroll building and bourbons have gone, like he'll hit this bet, get to like $900, and then lose the next 300 at Turfway.
I'm surprised you guys don't have Turfway plays in yet. I mean, you got 4 minutes to post there.
Is it? I do have a play at Turfway. Well, I have a horse I like. I haven't decided how to play it yet.
All right, I got a 4-1-5-7 exacta key box for $5, and then I got $10 to win on this 4. So we're gonna fire $40 into this race. Maybe we end it here. I still can't believe I should have gotten it last time, but I was like, no, this is too stupid of an exacta to play for more than $2. And then sure enough, pays like $300 for 2.
Murphy showing up and bringing the truth.
What did he say? Turfway sucks, dude. He's just mad because he got boomed last leg by like 6-5 horse. I was much the best, Murphy. Much the best. No, I think we all said it was such a bad favorite, and of course he wins. So, but they're loading in here adults on them. We got a couple minutes to look at race. Ooh, Rookery. I remember this horse. I don't remember why.
What are you looking at now?
Yeah,
Turfway?
Turfway race 7. But they're off here. Come on, 4. I'll tell you.
I was worried
on the eye
that
test, the 4 went much easier to get the lead than the 7 did.
yeah, they are.
Really
they appear to be hauling ass right now.
I can't. It's so damn dark out there. Hit the 4 and the 7 on front.
Yep.
Okay.
This can end this way, and I'll be happy.
That 7 floated up to 11-1. Someone must have got. Well, the 1 took late money. I'm not sure who else did though. My guess is the 5 or 6 got hammered.
1 making that middle move.
Appears
9 is just loping out there. Look at this. He's running by him with her tied down. All right. Well, I need the 6 to stay alive here.
Yep, same.
Doesn't look
Where
the
is the 6?
One. He's on the inside.
6 is on the rail.
No, he's got no chance from there.
Oh.
No one's got any chance. No one's catching to the 1. Dude.
Yeah, the 1 looked like good, and I'm like, why is no one betting this 1? 5-2 is about what I thought there, so I don't feel too mad.
You did the Mountaineer thing.
What's that?
When Mark Patterson and I forgot the other lady's name, right as they're loading into the gate, like the Mark will be like, "Well, what do you think of the 3?" Right? He didn't mention the 3 at all at any other point in the analysis, but then at the very end, he's like, "What do you think of the 3?" And sure enough, the 3 ends up winning right at the freaking end.
Well, I just assumed Mark would have him because he was the favorite. Or he was the favorite in the book anyway. And Mark didn't have him. I mean, anytime Mark doesn't have a favorite, I think we should talk about it.
Mike here. Nancy McMichaels. I thought I was going to say Nancy, but I thought I was just making that up. And that
she hasn't been there in forever, though. It's been a couple years, right? Like pre-COVID.
No.
Yeah.
It was a good ride by Hugo.
It was
on the 1. I mean, he moved at the right time. He got through, and then he had enough to hold off the 9.
Are we routing here? No, we're sprinting.
I threw in a bet here at Turfway. I think this 10 is a price that gets overlooked, and I thought he ran just as good of a race as a couple others exiting that common race last time out. So my biggest hesitation was John McKee, but apparently he swept the late pick 3 last night at Turfway. So he basically doubled up his win total on the meet. So maybe he's figuring something out. Maybe he's riding better. I don't know, but I thought this horse was a live price play, getting Lasix for the first time. Nice outside post. So I boxed him in an exacta. Or key boxed him, in an exacta with the 5, the 8, and the 11.
So I'm playing the rail horse to 2 to win. I don't really have a good reason to besides that I think the inside is good. And then I'm boxing it with the 6 Maotai because Maokai is broken in League of Legends. So we're gonna see if we get something here. Actually, this two fired a 47-second work at Keeneland last out, but actually ran well with Vinny aboard. So I think you need to just move that horse up just because Vinny's just awful. So the fact
I didn't throw that horse out, but I had a hard time getting to him with the way that the Correas barn has been going.
Yeah, but let's see if we can get Maotai. Get him in here before the fragging session. Mark, what do you think? What do you think of the current state of Maokai in League of Legends?
Of what?
Something happened with McKee. I don't know if it's like he lost an iron or what, but he was like water skiing the first 100 yards. That's all right.
Who's McKee on?
He's in the 10. This is a tough race because I had a hard time being against the favorites, but I also thought there was a lot of prices that made sense. So it's the kind of race where Corrales and Maker win at 6-1, or Walton Ward win at 8-1, and you're like, oh wow, I feel stupid, but it's a very tough race here, I thought.
Four still in the lead. Went kind of fast, I think, for Turfway. No,
46 has to. Well, it's going on 6, isn't it? 6.5. That's not that fast. I thought they were going a mile.
My 2 just kind of ran in place the whole time.
I got 4 horses in front of me to fall down.
9's rolling right now. I'm not gonna get there though.
5.
Man, 10 put in a good run if McKee didn't fall out of his fucking high chair early.
Paulo Lobo that was the favorite though, right?
I'm sure.
No, it was second
choice. Yeah.
Wow. Second choice.
They ran chalk, so I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's an easy.
It actually ran chalk, so I stand corrected.
Murphy also was on Maotai, but unfortunately, it was Steven in the jungle, which is not very effective. But that's 7. 7 really stumbled out the gate there. But yeah, let's a little change of pace here from losing money on back-to-back races like I just did. And let's go to losing money on stakes racing, Oaklawn Park. We're gonna start with the carousel here, race 7. It's not in the pick 5 sequence for the late pick 5 that ends in the Rebel, or it doesn't end in the Rebel. It ends in a Archie bred. I think is it an Archie bred maiden claimer? No, it's a maiden.
Maiden special, but it's Archie bred, so it may as well be like a Belter maiden claimer.
Dude, you want to know what's funny? Is I told where's the horse? Yeah, I told Chase, I'm like, I mean, you got to use the 7, right? Because it's Archie bred that was running in Santa Anita, running in California. So I mean, that's just got to be an upgrade, right? But yeah, it's a fun little sequence. That Archie bred race is just a complete mess. But the carousel here, going 6 furlongs on the dirt, $150,000 here for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. And you got the return of Ugiri here, who ran in the Kentucky Oats last year. Showed up here at Oaklawn in December, ran a nice little allowance race there and won. But you got some pretty nice horses here. Mark, where did you kind of land here?
Yeah, I thought this was a really, really interesting race. I took a look at the weather forecast at Oaklawn for Saturday, and they're supposed to get rain, I think, the next 3 days. Not a lot of rain called for on Saturday, but I'm imagining that the Thursday and Friday rain will keep the track fairly wet. And I think you know, I really like Pretty Birdie. I think she's a really kind of cool horse. For the somewhat local to me connections with being from Mary Lou Whitney stables, but and obviously Norm Cassie has been as hot as can be right now at Oaklawn. But I ended up landing on Yoguri, who I thought that last race in the slop at Oaklawn was a really impressive one. She should be, I would imagine the speed of at least the inside drawn speed. She's going to be one of your speeds along with Pretty Birdie. And I, really think she got along this track really well. And I think she's really interesting here. I realize I'm not taking any sort of a creative take on a horse who's probably going to be your co-favorite in here. But I thought Yoguri was just super interesting here. I had a couple prices, but I'll see where you guys landed.
Well, Mark talked about the two chalks, so we can move on from them. But he did bring up a point as she might be the speed, and I think that's kind of my concern with Ugiri in this race. I think she's a really nice filly, but I think there's a lot of speed in here. I mean, Ugiri, Pretty Birdie, I'm the boss of me. There's a lot of like big dead need to lead types in here, as well as a number of others who do their best running, towards the front of the pack. So with all of that, I landed on a horse that I don't expect to get the morning line on, but I would love it if I do, which is the number 1 Hazy Command, who's 10-1 in the book right now. This horse just seems to be, a much improved animal here in her 4-year-old season. She's come back and rattled off 2 wins to post a perfect 2-for-2 record at Oaklawn. She handles a muddy track when she ran that career best effort 2 back. And then she overcame a really slow pace last out. I mean, 46-2 on a fast track at Oaklawn. Going 6 furlongs is not very quick. And she was able to come from next to last and just blow the doors off that field. So I think she's just really sharp and really good form right now. I think she's going to get the pace setup that she needs. Amos and Bejarano have been just fine together. He understands this mount. He's ridden her to her last 2 victories. So I think there's a lot to like there. I think she gets the right setup today. And I like Hazy Command, the number 1.
Yeah, I also like Hazy Command here. I have her written down as a B in this race, but the one thing I do also like, and Mark kind of touched on it a little bit about the weather forecast. Horses won on a fast track, horses won on a sloppy track, right? So I think this is one that I can kind of pencil in and just feel good about whether it comes up wet or dry. Um, I do agree with you, Caleb. I think there's a bunch of speed, but I'm also afraid because we're going 6 furlongs, and I just feel like more often than not, I'm like, oh, there's so much speed, and it go a sprint distance, and it still ends up being one of the speed horses that win. I got the fade on Ugiri here. I don't really have a good like solid reason why I'm going to be 100% against, other than I think that there are other horses that have run just as fast as Ugiri that you're going to get a better price on. And so I'm going to take a stand against Ugiri here and just take the slightly better price, I think, on the 7 Pretty Birdie. We'll see what happens. Mark, I don't know, on buyer figures, are we pretty close here between the 5 and the 7, or?
Yeah, real
Yeah.
close, real close.
Yeah, so I mean, for all I know, the 7 might take a ton of money, and in that case, it's not going to really be worth playing. But off morning line odds, if the 7 goes off longer than the 5, I'm just as interested in the 7 as I would be in the 5. I mean, one kind of the local prep for this race, or is one of the stakes, 6 furlong stakes races that they run here at Oaklawn for fillies and mares. So I don't know. This horse fits. Horse likes to track. The other horse I know is a horse that you mentioned, Caleb, as definitely being part of the speed, and it's a 9. I'm the boss of me, and it's very interesting because looking at this from Brisnet, it seems to fit with the rest of the horses. But when you look at this horse on time form, that last out time form fig, I think is the best fig in that any of the horses ran. Or it's very, very super competitive. It's humongous. So if you're gonna get 15, if you're gonna give me 15-1 on a horse like that ran the best last out time form fig, ran well on the Brisnet figures as well. But I don't know. I just think that the price is going to be is just too enticing on the 9 to kind of give up. I know, another speed horse is the E7. It's only 2.5 cherries, right? It's not the full 3 cherries, but yeah, I mean, surprise! I land on the E8 and the E7 in the 6 furlong race, and Mark lands on the chalk. So I mean, following the
I,
on the wrong lead script, I think here.
I was going to ask, did either of you guys give any look to the 10 Mercy Warren? A horse who has handled the offgoing, that last out Fairgrounds Fig, at least time form wise, came back pretty massive. It gets Johnny V here, who has done good things with the DeVoe barn in the past. Any thought that this horse they might have kind of figured something out on and maybe very well met here?
I'm not really against the horse, especially at 8-1, but wasn't one that I feel like I had to use either. I just never know what to do with a horse that, it comes off of 3 pretty bad races, honestly. I mean, the 6 and a 7 horse field, 5th and a 9 horse field, and then 7 and an 11 horse field. And then all of a sudden shows up and wins by 16 lengths. I mean, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know if that's likely to be repeated or if she's going to go backwards, bounce to the moon, if that was just an aberration. So I don't know what to do with her. I think at 8 or 10-1, you probably get paid to take that risk, but she's not a horse that I feel like I'm not going to be too upset if she beats me, but but I wouldn't talk anybody off of using her either.
Yeah, respect that.
Murphy also likes the 1 and the 9. Yeah, he's mentioning the 9 big time form US fig last time out as well. Yeah, it was just like too big to ignore, which probably means that it's just a poisoned fig. But I mean, I've spent money on worse things, like that $130 bottle of bourbon that tastes like a $60 bottle.
Okay, because I'm asking questions here. One other one. We talked Derby preps last weekend, and then we had the Risen Star. Anybody have any takeaways from that race? Obviously, with Angel of Empire kind of coming from off the pace. Anyone think that is a horse that takes another step forward, going a little bit longer?
You just want us to say something because you were right.
I mean, that is 100% why I'm bringing this horse up. I mean, what'd you expect me to do? I'm right on a price once in a freaking blue moon, so I might as well, go there.
Horse looked good. I need to rewatch the race. I only saw it live, and then I haven't watched it since. And I don't know if it came back fast, but no. I mean, the horse ran a good race. I mean, I thought that was fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen the figs come back yet. I do know Cox was on kind of saying cheesy because we didn't really expect him to, be that good this early. And Cox was saying he really thought the horse would do really well when they did stretch him out. But it seemed like it was a massive step forward for a horse they didn't expect to take as big of a step forward as he did. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing this time of year, but it'll be interesting to see going forward.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the. Wow, it's not like. Oh, there it is. Let me pull up the chart here. So I'm literally still trying to remember who.
Yeah, it came back as an 89 buyer.
Came back as an 89 buyer. That's a little
which
bit.
Is not.
It's a little bit slow.
Yeah.
You could do worse.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not terrible. It's a stepping stone. Maybe it was just a soft race.
Who was the favorite victory formation? Flavian Pratt. What a bad bet. Whoever bet Flavian Pratt.
Here we
go. Losing again. Yeah, that's my takeaway. My takeaway is Flavian Pratt out of this. No, I'm just hoping that Two Phils can get another third place and get a Ravelli horse in the Derby. Because I think now he's got a second and a third, but I think the second was in the first prep, which is like 5 points or something. Worth 5 points.
It was also nice to see the Baffert, not a Baffert horse, not get any points. That always makes me happy.
Is that Harlowcap?
That was nice.
That was Harlowcap. Yep.
Well, we have another Baffert, not a Baffert in this race, don't we?
We do
at Oaklawn.
We do.
So I'm sure we'll get to that, but yeah, no, this is a fun little race. You guys any Any interest in the West Coast shipper coming in, the 11? Samurai Charm.
I just didn't see it. I mean, I know that Miller's got some wins on the meet, but I had a hard time getting to that horse.
I mean, one at Zia Park, which is basically Oaklawn anyways. So
it felt like a terrible morning lion, is what it really felt like. I mean, but maybe Rosario and Miller take money, and the horse is, I'll use the Caleb phrase, a bit of a takeout reducer.
Yeah, I didn't like that horse at all. I mean, horse wins at Zia Park twice and then Los Al. I mean, I get she's been keeping better company, but just not for me.
I went there.
Mark just wanted me to do this, but
you know what, Josh? Yeah. Mike does want to know what the $130 bottle you bought was.
Oh, it was a bottle of barrel. It was a single barrel pick. It was it's an 8-year barrel proof pick. It's good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like it's a good bottle of bourbon. It's just not $130 bottle of bourbon. But I mean, who the fuck knows now, right? Because bourbon is just absolutely insane, right? Like Mark the other day was like, found Eagle Rare at MSRP, and I'm having him like buy it and bring it to Vegas because it's just like you can't find it anywhere. And meanwhile, like here, like if I see a bottle of E.H. Taylor, they want like $250 for it. Like it's just nuts, right? Like it's just crazy. But yeah, I bought a couple of barrel picks. So that one, then there was a rum barrel one, which is good, but it was like $80 or $90, which is about what a bottle of barrel costs, and it was good. So I just didn't see where the extra like $40 from a regular bottle of barrel this came. Maybe it was just the extra 2 or 3 years that they aged it, because it was an 8-year pick. But yeah, it was yeah. And I'm not gonna say like I regret buying it, but like I probably should only bought one. I bought 2 bottles, so I'm bringing the other one out to Vegas. And it's not like a trick or anything, right? Like it's a really good bottle of bourbon. It's just, I don't know. Like I'm guessing that.
So it's not like Smoke Wagon or anything. It's actually
no, it's not like Smoke. Yeah, no, I know you hate Smoke Wagon, and I'm starting to kind of hate it a little bit too. But it's just value proposition is not great. Like I would have rather had a bottle and a half of Vantage or something else so that barrel makes than this. But live and let live, Race 7 here at Delta Downs, Mark. You got anything going?
Well, I'm dead. I am dead in everything,
$2.
And I do have $2. Oh, geez, I do have $2. How do I want to spend it? Let me
bet the 7.
I have, because I ended up on the 1, the 9, and the 10 in here, who are the 3 that I thought that made the most sense. And nothing creative to say. Of course, you hop over to Delta as I have Oaklawn up ready for the next race there. But that's just how my world works. So give me 1 second, Josh.
No worries.
Yep. No, I thought Jack's Wild Run off the long layoff. I really, this horse won with Thornton up last out, but long layoff for a low percentage barn. If you want to beat one of the shorter priced horses, I thought the 1 was the most likely horse that you could sort of get around. But it was one of those horses that, I don't want to say a defensive A, the horse of the 3A that I have on top, it's the one I like the least. And I think is sitting probably as his second choice here. I thought the 9 Sadie Ransom, Vincenti had choice in here on a couple, ends up here. A barn that's really low percentage off the claim. And then you have the 10, who is the horse, of those 3. 10 is getting the class relief in here, but I don't know what to do with that horse because I don't really know if I trust any of the figures. They're all on and off track. Horse has never caught a fast track, so I don't really know what that horse is made of. I think of the 3 horses that I liked, I'd probably be most inclined to get behind the 10, but I thought this was a race where I could make a lot of cases for a bunch of horses. There's other ones in here taking class relief or getting a lot of class relief as well. So I'll probably put my remaining $2 to win on this 10 and see where it lands.
So yeah, I did throw in a bet here. I also like the 9 and 10 as Marcus covered. I'm playing against the 1 off the huge layoff, low percentage bar and stuck in the rail. You hold a horse for 2 years, only to bring him back in a basement level claiming race. Like, I don't know what happened. But at 502, they can beat me. So I used the 9 and 10 in an exacta, and I played it kind of weird. I played it over the 2, 5, 9, 10. I thought the 2 and the 5 were two prices that I don't really think can necessarily win the race, but I think are those 1 for 15, 1 for 20 kind of horses that can clunk up and maybe hit the board. And then 9 and 10 also. I mean, I don't want my top 2 picks to run 1, 2 and me not to cash anything. So I have 9, 10 over 2, 5, 9, 10 in an exacta. And I also played a 9, 10 over the 1 in a daily double. I really like the 1 next race. It's probably one of my better opinions on the Delta card. 6 to 1 in the morning line. And looking at the doubles, it seems like you might get something close-ish to that, which I was surprised to see. The 9 is going to be a tough horse to beat, dropping, out of those fairgrounds claiming races where he just kind of ran away and hid. But, I'm always a little bit skeptical of horses that have never raced at Delta coming over, especially routers at fairgrounds coming over to sprint at Delta. It's just a very different atmosphere, very different configuration, and some horses don't always handle it. And I picked 5. I was not against the 9, but in this double, I think I'm getting paid enough to take a shot with my 1. So I'm playing 9, 10 with the 1 in doubles.
Man, I don't know. I kind of like the 1, but I mean, the 1 is just run such a better race, but yeah, it's a huge layoff, huge drop off the layoff. It smells funny, but cheese also smells funny and is delicious. Yes, this is how I handicap normally.
This is the longest I've ever seen Josh take to handicap a race.
No, I mean, I just am like trying to figure out like how do I make money off this 1.
I mean, I realize E6 is almost an E8, Josh. I mean, it's close.
I mean, yeah, sure. We got to get into the time machine to go back to July of 21, but I mean, the horse ran that as what, a 2-year-old?
I mean, the horse ran that race before you got a COVID vaccine.
No.
At 4.5 furlongs in the slop as well. Well, let's add those 2 factors there.
I actually got my COVID vaccine January 21, so because I was in the hospital.
The horse that they're not betting that I thought looked interesting here is the 6. I know it's a maiden coming back or a last stop maiden breaker, but kind of like the lone 3-year-old in a field full of proven losers. That's an angle I always kind of like. She gets a lot of weight here versus some of her competition and seems to have run improving speed figures in each of her last 3. So I thought she was kind of interesting in here, but I couldn't really find a way to fit her in for connections that just don't seem to hook up very well when they get together. Over 18 over the last 2 months. So I couldn't quite get there due to my biases, but she could certainly win. It wouldn't surprise me.
Those connections are 1 for 22 in the last year.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that horse, I mean, Alpine Mist, the horse she lost to, 2 back, went on to win a stakes race, I believe, at Delta, because that's a common horse that was in the Alpine Mist won that stakes race, and then the horse that just won the last race, that one horse, it came in 1-9. They both came out of a common race in that stakes race against Alpine Mist. So there might be some sneaky class, despite the fact that they look cheap on the 6 horse here, just having faced some decent horses.
I will say that, of course, we're talking about low percentage connections. That the horse the trainer that won the last race was 1 for 35 until that race. So, occasionally the stats do come and bite you in the ass.
All right, I'm all in on this 1. I mean, not all in, but I got 25 to win on this 1. I got a 1-1 double.
Yeah, all in.
And I got a 1-8 double. Dude, if I put $500 to win on this 1, it would. This one would go off at like 3 to 5.
Oh, there's 90. There's almost 10K in the win pot. No, it won't.
I don't know. I might need this whatever I got left in this account is break the glass in Vegas. Who knows? All right, and then while they're walking towards the gate, we do have 5 minutes to race 8 at Turfway. Mark, you're broke. Caleb, you got like what, $2?
I got $4.
Anything you liked at Turfway?
I tend to bet against Wesley Ward anytime he stretches a horse out. The calculator absolutely loves this 11 horse, and he does seem to be controlling speed at Turfway. Half sibling to Bast, who is a pretty decent dirt horse in his own right. So I struggled here with what to do, because if you try to go against the 11, I couldn't find an obvious like second or third pick that I sort of liked. I thought the 5 looked interesting, but apparently Rafael Hernandez is not on board. It's Santiago Gonzalez, who I like significantly less. And then I thought maybe the 10 was interesting, who made a good run in the debut, and now second time out should improve there. But those are kind of like the obvious second picks behind the 11. So I didn't really like anything. I tried to do like an 11 over 2-5, but I'm not sure I'm going to get paid enough to take that shot.
No love for the 1 at Turfway?
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
Which of those 2 races makes you think, yeah, I want to bet this horse?
The fact that he's on the rail going a route at Turfway Park right now.
I mean, didn't you just bet the rail horse who finished up the track?
Yeah, but that wasn't the route. That was a sprint.
Is the rail good at routes all of a sudden?
I think so, but it was yesterday and it was earlier today, but I don't know.
Yeah, apparently this week the rail has been excellent going a route. I'm just looking at the Briz stats, which are not always easy to interpret, but an impact value of 3.97, which is enormous. So you could be right, Josh. That's a good take. Although with Cox, you're not going to get much of a price, I don't think.
9-1 currently.
Really?
Oh, look at now. Wait, did I convince Caleb into something?
I mean, I got $4 left, so I guess I can do something here. But it's like, it does bug me a little bit when the horse sort of went backwards, in that second start on the stretch out. But I got $4, and I need a prayer, so it'd only be appropriate if I hit something with Josh's pick on top.
All right, they're off at Delta. The 1 grabbed the lead here.
The Josh horse has made the lead.
Although, Mark said that speed has been ungodly good, and none of the speed horses have won since he said that. And I don't think this one already looks like he's in trouble.
The horse I mentioned at the last minute was the 6. We'll see if I can do it twice in a row. Who's on the parking lot in the maroon cap? Who is that? I'm nowhere close.
3? 2?
I don't see a 9 or 10 anywhere.
Oh.
The horse I mentioned last minute's 2 for 2.
Yep.
In full disclosure, on my non-contest account, I did win bet the horse, but
in full disclosure, on my non-contest account, I also bet the horse.
But I only put $10 to win, just so at least
I had the horse to be in a late pick 3.
I'll recover my $50 from my contest losses tonight with that win bet anyway.
I had the 2 and the 6 as B's. Chris, that 2 could have gotten up. That would have been much nicer.
Was that 6-2 exactly worth anything?
1 held second.
95 for 2. That's pretty good.
It was 6-1 Caleb.
Oh, well, I don't know. I forgot about the 1.
The 1 held.
The 1? Oh, the 1 held second.
There was one held second. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm going to fire something, just some cheap trifecta or something at Turfway just for some action here. It's probably the last race. Although we have one more at Delta, but I'll be out of money, and I think that 3 looks like a 1-5 next race.
Yeah, and I am out of money, so.
Let's get that inquiry sign up for an 8-5. Unreal.
There was nothing there.
Unreal. I mean, it could be worse. It could be you guys just cheering against me the whole way down the stretch, but
that's never happened. No idea what you're talking about.
Never happened, especially not live. I will say, if you did that in real life, I would punch you in the face, Mark.
So if I randomly leave NHC with a black eye, everybody will know on stream the next week what happened. Okay.
Mark's gonna show up just all disheveled. It's like, what? Well, you see, Wolfie's Dynaghost on the Tapeta.
So I did fire a real cheap try, just trying to mush Josh's one here. So I played 1 over 11 over 2, 3, 5, 10, and then 1 over 2, 3, 5, 10 over the 11.
Yeah, I got 25 to win on the 1, and I got the 1 over the 2, 3, 10.
The stupid Wolfie's guy Dynaghost race. I've never felt like a bigger a-hole celebrating a price getting home.
I don't know why you didn't tell Shu about that price.
We did tell
We
Shu.
did.
Shu
I know.
also liked
He liked another price in the race. I was sitting
price.
I was sitting right next to him in Wolfie wires, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I should be.
Like, that's so tough, though. It's like it's one thing if you have no real opinion
do?
in the race, and someone gives you a price and you don't take it. Like, all right. But when you really like a price, but then somebody else really likes a different price, like it's so hard. If you switch to their price and your horse wins, you're gonna hate yourself.
You're gonna hate yourself, exactly. Yeah, if he was gonna use the chalk or something, then it's a different conversation to have. But no, they were all, at that point they were looking for some prices. And...
yeah, that's a tough call.
I mean, that one race covered all my Let It Ride losses, but.
Charles B saying Jenny Lynn is supposed to be one of the Ass Man better horses with the Bug Boy. I look at that horse, but boy, Ass Man just hit his 10,000th win, but I don't know where, because he's like 1 for 40 everywhere I've seen.
His barn has been really cold.
Fairground? I mean, where's he getting his wins?
It's not Delta.
It's not Delta.
Not
it's not. I mean, Oaklawn is like 8%, but he's usually like 30% there. So,
hey, Josh, they are looking at this.
No, they're not.
Was there anything?
There's an inquiry, and they just put up 1 over 6.
It's probably just these Cajuns don't know how to count very well.
I mean, that is true. But normally it's the hard time getting to 6 because it's on the second hand. I mean, just the one.
Oh,
it looks like
it's the wrong Dela Cruz brother.
Or did they dead heat this?
No, they put the 6 in the winner's circle.
Oh, they're taking photos. Okay. Because if they did dead heat this, I want to see the stupid photo. Yeah, I think they dead heated this, Caleb.
Did they really? It looked like the 6 had him by
6 was neck. By a neck.
Oh, I need that Brad. I need that Brad Cox. Give me that Brad Cox stuff.
One looks good from here. I mean, other horses have some run, but one looks like the horse to catch.
7. Here comes the fucking
that's
7.
Charles's horse, Jenny Lind.
Re-rally up the rail.
No, ain't gonna happen. 7's gone.
Charles is gonna boom me. God bless it. Nice pick, Charles.
Oh boy, was that Wesley Ward horse an absolute rat. There he is. He just finished. Well, he probably had to run twice the race he normally had. I mean, he's used to run. I don't know why. I mean, I don't understand. I think a big pitfall of the calculator is it loves chalk way too much, I think, for high percentage connections.
Yeah, they did dead heat that. What the heck?
I need to see that photo. That's like the worst.
I do too. That one. Yeah.
Like that makes Kentucky Downs looks like it's broadcasted in 4K.
Man.
Yeah, nice job, Charles. That was a good call.
Big one, Charles.
Yeah, very nice.
17 to 1. Yeah, Ryan said he went 1, 2, 3, 4 exact the box at Turfway. I'm telling you, man, that inside was. I thought Fernando de la Cruz got off the rail and.
That's terrible. My $10 win bet paid $27. That's disgusting.
Well, you want to know what my $25 win bet paid?
Nothing.
No,
$37.50.
Yeah.
No, there's just no way that was a dead heat. I just don't believe it.
It's just I don't believe it either.
Well, I have a $10 double to the 1, and I have a $5 double to the 8 next race here at Delta. Interesting. What? The 1 opens at 1 to 2. but
It's not
well,
1 or
it's
2
not the
anymore.
worst. It's not the worst. Double's paying $12.70 for a buck. The one double. The 8 is paying $50.90. So that would actually work quite better for me.
You want to talk a little Oaklawn, Josh? What we got him
Yeah,
at?
yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at race 10, the Honeybee, going to mile 16th here on the dirt for fillies, 3-year-old. This is a Kentucky Oaks prep. And I believe, who's your favorite in this race? Let's get down to the bottom here.
I think
I believe your
Grand
favorite's
Love
Grand
is.
Love at 3-1. You got
Wet
9 to
Paint's your second
2,
choice.
or you got 7 to 2 on Wet Paint, 9 to 2 on Defining Purpose in Towhead, and then I think everyone else is double digits. So yeah, it's a pretty flat race again here. Looks pretty competitive. So Mark landed on the 3 Grand Love as the morning line favorite. Mark loves the favorite in the spot.
Mark's going to land on the 7, thinking he's creative by picking the horse that's not the favorite, who actually ends up going off as the favorite, though.
I'm
the
actually
7
on a
Wet Paint.
pretty
That's
big.
actually who I landed on. But
I'm actually on a pretty big price here, so
oh well.
Is it the one?
Please, Mark.
it is the one. Yeah, it is the one.
The horse that has the worst morning line of all time.
Yeah, isn't it just like the worst morning line you've ever seen? Yeah, that horse is probably gonna be what, 3rd choice, I would imagine. But no, I mean, I think when you and I'll jump in. I think Grand Love is coming off somewhat of a long layoff. I think Grand Love has quite a bit of tactical speed. I think it probably ends up on the lead here. If she wants it, and if that's what the intent is with her. Her maiden breaker at Saratoga was pretty good, and then kind of disappointed in her next 2. I mean, I don't know why she's going to be the favorite here, unless she's been working like a monster or something, and we're not aware of it. I think Wet Paint makes sense, except for the massive jock terribleness that you're getting there. And so, given the weather forecast, I landed up on Effortlessly Elegant. I thought that last out win was extremely impressive. Norm Cassie Barn has absolutely been firing lights out. He's 53% on the meet so far, and he's 67% so far in the last year when he's put Santana up with a $4.37 ROI, which is an absolutely absurd statistic. I guess, if Caleb is also picking on, or always point out this one, I'm sure that's just a terrible morning line and we're going to get much shorter. But, there are some question marks over some of the shorter prices. And so given the horse did have a win on off track, I was super interested in the one here.
Cesar Alvarez jumping on the one with us at Delta. Cesar or Caleb. He says, hopefully we connect. We can afford a Josh 135 bottle. You know what that is? So, Caesar, I'm also obviously a big fan of tequila. So that'll get you a bottle of Don Julio 1942. It's a
nice stuff. There you go.
Bottle.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, I also like the one. So if I like the one and Mark likes the one and Caleb likes the one, then this horse is like 2-1, not 20-1. You like the one, Caleb?
I mean, he's like a B. He's my only B. I have 2 A's and a B. He's kind of the B here. A lot of questions to answer compared to some others. I mean, class test, distance test. But yeah, I mean, 20-1 or 10-1 or 5-1 or whatever the horse goes off at, probably in that 4-1, 4 to 6-1 range is my guess. Like, still probably worth a bet as a B. I mean, ran a big figure last out, has speed, doesn't seem to need the lead. All the things that Mark said, hot connections, everything else.
Where did you land on, Caleb?
I landed on the 7 was actually my top pick, as we've already kind of talked about. Undefeated on dirt, including 2 for 2 over off tracks. So I think all those arguments apply just as much for the 7, if not more so, than they do for the 1. Nothing super creative there. And the other horse I liked was the 2 Towhead. They kind of thought they had a turf horse for a while, and I guess the horse wasn't really a bad turf horse, but it seems like she's really just better on the dirt. Came back, broke her maiden at Churchill, and then came back at Oaklawn and a high-level optional 80, and ran a really nice race, raced very professionally, was inside of horses, drew the fence that day, took some kickback, was able to rate off of the speed from the inside, which is something that a lot of these 3-year-old horses can struggle with when they have to rate from the inside. They're taking kickback. They can't really run as fast as they want because they have to deal with the traffic issues. I just thought it was a very professional performance. She was tons the best that day. Moves up in class, but is proven at the distance, likes this track, and seems to be improving at the right time. So I thought Towhead was pretty interesting here.
Yeah, I landed on the 7 wet paint as my top pick, and how much I have to like this horse in order for me to put a Flavian Pratt horse as my top pick. I mean, it took a lot, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of looked at this race, and you know, I I had a hard time with the pace scenario in this race. Right, you got the 3 Grand Love, which has gone to the lead. Is definitely kind of a need the lead type horse. You got the 12 Tax that's got a little bit of speed. Um, and then you got a lot of horses that have gone to the lead, sat just off the lead. Um, so I'm really just like not sure. Like, will this be a real like just soft pace for the 3? I mean, is the 3 just gonna get out there and get loose? Like, I have a hard time just tossing the 3 completely, just because I don't know if there's just going to be not enough speed here, and this 3 is just going to get a nice easy pace and just go. Um, if you look back at the juvenile fillies, obviously had a really really fast pace up front, um, but did slow it down in that second quarter. So maybe not much of a you can't make as much of an excuse there for the 3 Grand Love. Um, but I most of my money's going to go through the 7, and I think I like the 1 the kind of as second choice for me. We'll see what happens. I had a really hard time with this pace scenario. So I don't know if you guys did as well, or if I'm just an idiot. I don't know.
The pace scenario is hard. I agree with you there. 'Cause it looks like the 3. At first glance, you would kind of think the 3 is your leader, but after what the 1 did last time, stretching out from the rail over what's likely to be a sloppy track with Ricardo, could easily see that horse being ridden very aggressively to get to the front. Towhead certainly wants to be up there, be involved. So there's a number of horses that like I don't know what they're going to do. They've proven they don't necessarily need the lead, but they also want to be, somewhat forward. Whereas the 3 appears to be kind of a horse that does need the lead. So Rosario probably takes her last. But yeah, I don't know. I struggle with the pace scenario as well. I wasn't really crazy about the 3. I will admit that. Only win came against maidens sprinting. Not entirely sure that distance is going to be the friend of this one. I'm still not totally sold these gun runners are going to be much better going long than short. She certainly has not been. You can attribute that to the company she's kept, I guess. I mean, yeah, the pace was on the quicker side in the Breeders' Cup, but I'm still not totally sold that she's just quite that good at this distance yet. So I'll probably play against her, especially as the favorite, if she ends up going off that way.
Yeah,
Murphy likes the 4.
He likes the 4. Yeah, gambling girl.
That's the kind of horse I would throw in underneath, but I have a hard time getting her on top.
I had the same take on her. I had a real hard time getting her on top. I didn't quite know what to do with her. I would have liked to have seen her be a little bit better on the off going in those last 2 races, just given the fact that she probably is going to see it again. Her figures say that she's not a player here, but Todd is deadly when he ships. So, I if you're going to get 12-1 on that horse, it's definitely one that I very much like as maybe a B or a C type horse. I think this is the race in this sort of sequence that you want to have the most coverage in. I thought this one was the most likely to produce some upside. So I don't hate the pick at all.
He also did, I think, what he liked the 5 a little bit. Condensation.
Yeah, I mean, at least Condensation has a figure the figure on that last race with Bejarano up in the slop would be a player against some of these, more so than anything that the 4 has ever run. But I understand why you're expecting the 4 to potentially take another step forward. But I don't hate it from a contest play type stab. I just think, with for sort of a real money play, it's another one I had a little bit of a hard time with.
Yeah, I could get to the 5 before I can get to the 4. Honestly, I think
Yeah,
the
agreed.
price will be better. I like the run style more in this race. The figs are better. I could see the 5. The horse likes to win. Yeah, I could see the 5, and 5 might squeak on as like my last B, perhaps.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else much creative in this race besides 7-1 here. So, anything else you guys want to
Anybody
touch on here?
say anybody have any take any look at the 10 horse? Do you want to dance? It was a horse that won 3 straight at Remy. Multi or 2-time stakes winner. I mean, I realized against State Bred Company, went versus Open Company, completely flopped, and then gets moved to the Dallas Stewart barn. Um, a horse that does have a win on the off going needs a massive step forward figures wise to be a player in here. But I don't know. I was looking for sort of just an outsider head scratchy kind of horse, and seems like a very, very ambitious spot for Dallas Stewart to be putting this horse. But Dallas tends to place them pretty well. I realize he's been low percentage at Oaklawn so far this meet, but he does tend to normally spot his horses pretty well. So I just sort of wondering if anybody gave that one a look at all.
No, I couldn't use that horse.
Yep.
I was trying to remember why I knew that horse, and I think I liked that horse a lot at the because that was Springboard Mile Day.
Yep.
I think I really liked the horse there, and the horse was a long price, I think, and it was just a bad morning line. Went off at like 2-1, but finished DFL. So. That's so funny. Murphy, we're not picking on you. We are just we're interacting. We're interacting. But yeah. Your one is 8-1 right now here, Caleb.
That might be a wager then.
But let's just kind of go into the Rebel here. 2-1 on verifying. You guys really think verifying is gonna be 2-1 or less?
No.
I had 4 horses and I didn't verify.
I have 4. I also have 4 horses and do not have verifying.
I only have 2 horses,
So
but I also don't have verifying.
I think we've universally faded the 3 morning line favorites in the 3 stakes races. So well, I guess not you, Gary. Mark liked her, but
Yeah.
Congratulations to the other chalk.
Yeah, I was gonna say congratulations, your 2023 Rebel winner verifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just.
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Josh.
I said, yeah. I mean, I guess verifying's fine, but like 2-1, like that seemed ridiculous. But what were you gonna say, Mark?
No, I was just gonna say I thought verifying was the kind of horse that you try to beat in a spot like this. A very short priced favorite in what appears to be a wide open field. I realize it's Flo and Cox, and they win all sorts of things, but this is a pretty interesting field. And yeah, I thought there was a lot of other places to go, and I think the place that I ended up landing here for my top choice is the 4 horse Gun Pilot. I think it's the other Asmussen that's in this race, but it seems like Santana had choice, ends up on Gun Pilot. It looked like others had, it looks like Red Route 1 had run a better race last out, but I wonder if, and again, Caleb has already mentioned the gun runners, but does this one take another step forward here and become a really massive player? I think the figures fit. I like the run style, should be really forwardly placed. Should give Santana a lot of options. And, I think this, stretch out probably helps this one. So, I thought Gun Pilot was probably my top choice.
Yeah, Gun Pilot was one of the 4 that I did use. Another one that I used is the other horse you touched on, Mark, which was Red Route 1. This horse is probably a turf horse, or probably a little bit better on the turf, maybe, but it hasn't embarrassed himself on dirt and sort of, comes running late. I mean, it might be ambitious to put him on top, but I think the horse is in here with a chance and will be a nice price. My top pick, though, was unfortunately the horse that I think probably will go off as your favorite, which is the Brad Cox horse that doesn't have the useless jockey. So number 5, Giant Mischief. Yeah, I think that as we've seen last week, I mean, the one that Drew's on is just going to get a lousy ride and probably finish off the back. So Giant Mischief, when Brad goes to the big guns, Saez or Irad, generally, I mean, he means business. And this horse, I get it. I mean, he lost last time in a race that it felt like he was supposed to win. But man, did he have a terrible trip. I mean, in a race where the pace pretty much held together and he came, stumbles out of the gate, comes out last, loops the entire field, and then almost gets up. I mean, really, he was absolutely the best in that race. How strong that race has come back is certainly debatable. I mean, is those figures a little dressed up? I think that's a fair question. But I think what we saw him also do against Arabian Lion on the Breeders' Cup undercard was impressive. I still think he's the horse to beat, and I'm willing to give him one more chance here to kind of prove himself, against legitimate, Kentucky Derby contender company here. So he would be my top pick in this race.
Yes, Murphy is a brilliant person and also agrees with you, Caleb. Just an amazing pick of the 5, Giant Mischief. Great handicapping.
Well, good job picking the favorite, Murph. I'm sure that was hard.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with Charles, right? Like, I'm betting Giant Mischief not off the last race, but the race 2 back. Very impressive race going that 7 furlongs, beating Arabian Lion. Yeah, I mean had the start, the bobbled start, and almost looped the entire field there at the Springboard Mile. So I thought the 5 is probably going to go off as your favorite. I basically agree with everything you said there, Caleb. I did also use the horse, that inexplicably is leaving Bob Baffert's barn. I don't know why, but is going to Tim Yakteen of all people, who might be the greatest Derby Trail trainer of all time over what he's been able to do the past 2 years with these just horses of a lifetime that he seems to keep on getting. But I thought Reincarnate here, took a little bit to break his maiden. Probably made Caleb's list of horses never to bet once again, because he didn't break his maiden until his 4th start. But then came and ran a really nice race in the Sham, beating Newgate and National Treasure. Yeah, I think that this is Bob wants to get some points early, or sorry, Tim wants to get some points early, is going to show up here to the second level stakes. And I think he's in here with a real big shot. I know West Coast figs tend to be a little bit dressed up, but I think that the 5 and the 6 are just between those two. I think one of those two is your most likely winner. I do like your 3 a bit, Caleb. I have him kind of as like a B type. I think that last race in the slop, you got a horse that will handle the slop if we do get a lot of weather, and that the horse likes the track. So kind of taking a local angle there with the 3 red route 1. But I definitely think 5 is the Brad Cox horse you want. Any others that you want to talk about, Mark, or what did you think here?
No, you guys touched everything else. I mean, I think Giant Mischief and Reincarnate are both super logical. They have to be on your tickets. I mean, you can fade them at whatever. They're not the kind of horses I think you toss. I think Giant Mischief is probably your likely favorite in this field. But no, interesting race. It'll be interesting to see. A few of these are on long breaks, so it'll be interesting to see who takes that step forward, or if they do take that step forward from their 2-year-old season.
Yeah, Murphy is not a fan of the Tim Baffert horse. So he said he ran with the bias 2 times.
Well, it's also kind of, I mean, if you look at the price he went off, the Tim Baffert horse went off at in his last race. He was a massive price in there. He was the other Baffert in that race, or other.
I think that was the 5 Baffert race, or the 4 within.
It was the 4 or 5, the 4 Baffert races, and he was the longest price by a mile. And and Juan basically stole the race. I don't know. I mean, can he really repeat that, or is that just an aberration? It'll, I mean, obviously.
Johnny V's in the ride though. Like, you got to figure that, right?
But I mean, didn't Johnny V have choice last time and not?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying that. Johnny V doesn't ride at Oaklawn. Like, it's not like he's stationed here, so he can't. Well, Well, this I
Where
think
else are
these
you gonna
PPs.
ride?
Well, these PPs I think came out before Santa Anita canceled for the entire weekend, but yeah, I don't know. I thought that meant something, that the fact that he shipped in for it, but I get it. Like, I mean, I'm taking 2 short price horses. I mean, this is what you want to do, right? You want to talk holes through the short prices. So
Yeah. I mean, that 6 was the fourth of the 4 horses I said I kind of liked, but he's a distant fourth and one that I may end up tossing depending on how I feel that day.
yeah. So Murphy did mention this 9 event detail for Paulo Lobo and Gerardo Corrales coming in off from Turfway. So I don't know if he's looking for the poly pop right here, where David Brees is asking about the synth to dirt angle. He's like, if that's an angle, some people do think
Oh,
it's
it's
actually an
very much
angle.
an angle.
Yeah.
I loved about horses that have shown some promise on synth that are then moving to dirt. It seems like for some reason I don't know what it is about running over synthetic, but the horses always seem to move forward off that whether they end up on turf or on dirt on their next start. So yeah, I do like last out synth starters, especially last out synth winners.
I'm putting 25 to win on this one, even though I already have a double to it. He's
Yeah,
9-1, Caleb.
I played a 1-3 double.
Just letting
but
you know the 6 is going to boom y'all.
with that being said, yeah, Murph's 9 at 30 to 1 is interesting, but I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit gun shy after getting really burned by like Tis the Bomb and a few others last year, kind of going for that same angle and just not panning out. So, given his prior dirt form is not super impressive, I don't know. At 30 to 1, you could do a hell of a lot worse. But it's not like I can sit there and be like, oh, this horse is going to fire. Like, I just feel it. I mean, he kind of got set up last time and did what he was supposed to. But yeah, I have a 1-3 double for nothing contest related, just in general. And I also played a Josh 189 exacta box.
Yeah.
For $1.
I don't know what he's. Oh, is the one is rank as hell.
Yes, he is.
But my 8 got the lead. Let's see if what the fuck is he doing in this one?
You gotta just let him go. I mean, there's no point in strangling him back.
It's like, hey, let's get all the way last. Okay, now let's let him run. Like what? Like
you're still in a pocket, whether you're last in the pocket or third in the pocket. I feel like this is really slow. How far are they going? 6.5.
Now he unleashes the 1, and now he's got to go all over the place. I need this 8 to hold on, but I don't think he's going to. I think the 9's got him. Fuck. Damn. 8 ran a good race too.
It ran great. Well, I did get the back end of that stupid exacta box. I don't know if it pays anything. I paid $80. Holy shit! I should have played it seriously if I knew that.
Yeah, the 8 was the longest price on the board. He was 24 to 1.
I mean, he kind of looked like your only leader, depending what the like if the 9 on the big cutback wasn't really certain to get the lead there. But wow.
9-8. Yeah, 9-8 paying $39 for $39 for a buck.
Well, it makes up for the money they stole from me on that Phantom Dead Heat, I guess.
And Dave, I was going to say I don't think you get rich strike money. I think that that 9 event detail has way too many bells and whistles that people are going to be. There'll be money going through that horse. I don't think you'll get a 30 to 1 even. You're going to get a big price, but just not that big a price.
Road Warrior wants a little bit of effort there. Ride to the effing wire. Don't make it that close. Oh man. So since none of us like the one here, verifying. Congratulations to the winner of the Rebel Stakes. Verifying for Brad Cox, and I'm not going to read all of the owners there, but yeah, it's a fun little card. Like I said, Chase and I capped through it. The race 8. Actually, I should probably reshare this because I think we do need to talk about race 8 very, very briefly. Flapjack.
Oh God,
That's Chase's horse.
Flapjack is back. Yeah, Mark. Chase's horse, right, Mark?
Yeah, Chase's horse.
We actually did talk a little bit about it, about the mythical flapjack, but yeah, it's a fun little card, a fun little pick 5 sequence. The Archie Bread race is just absolutely ridiculous, but
Can we just take a minute to recognize that like the carousel is not like a 5-horse field. It's not a 1-5 favorite. It's a really strong race with a good field size of 11 horses. And they're like, no, let's not put that in the pick 5. Let's do a maiden Archibred in the last leg of all the horizontals. Not even the first leg, so you can potentially skip it and play the pick 4, but the last leg. So basically, any kind of longer horizontal you're playing forces you into this meat grinder of a lottery ticket. So yeah, shame on you, Oaklawn. That's terrible.
Yeah. I actually. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I think you see that intentionally by some of these tracks, and I don't want to dunk on Oaklawn or anything, but where they want that lottery ticket, they want that. Oh, the pick 5 paid 60 grand yesterday because some 100-to-1 Archibred won a maiden special weight in the last race. I think they're gunning for that, and it's extremely frustrating for those of us who don't take that sort of jackpot bingo-y type approach. That's all.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am down to $477.
So, you're going the wrong way, Josh.
I am going the wrong way. This is just this is unfortunate. You hate to see this happen, but hey, I just got you guys to put an additional, a couple bucks in the pool, and the bottles just getting nicer and nicer as these weeks go on. So
Josh, all you gotta do is bet the whole thing on a 5-2 shot, and you're gonna get a real nice bottle at this point. You've been milking this for all it's worth.
Yeah,
you got us all right where you want us.
Exactly. I still do have like 9 times what you guys are going to start with. So
yeah, but you did have like 20 times you're going to start with. Well, 18 times.
Yeah. But
you're going to have
Yeah, John Massey saying, look at Saratoga littering Traverse Day with NW1 turf allowances and maiden claimers on the inner.
Let's not pretend like an NW1 turf allowance and an Archibred maiden race the same thing.
Basically. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Check us out at ontherwronglead.com. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Give some thumbs up. Do what you need to do on this video. Check us out on Twitter at wrong_lead. We'll be back next Thursday. Caleb, you gonna be in town or are you gonna be gone?
I will be out of town next Thursday.
All right, we will be on the lookout for a less good looking version of Caleb for tomorrow or for next week, and then the week after that we'll be in Vegas.
Coming to you live
in Vegas. I don't know whose room. Probably Caleb's room, if I had to guess. But we'll be coming live, and we'll probably be extremely inebriated, and hopefully at least one of us will have an NHCC. But yeah, it'll be a fun couple weeks, and then Derby season is here. We're at the second level of the preps, so yeah, we'll catch you guys later. If I can find the video, here we go.